Hello. That was fun. Sorry about that. That took a minute. I'm out of practice with doing the live thing. You can tell. How is everybody? I'm sorry, and I had to drop off that other. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me. Doreen, you're on. It didn't go live from the original link that I had out there, so I had to kind of delete that one and start again. So I don't know how bad that messed you guys up. But I see that some of you have found it. So hopefully the others will. Well, welcome, welcome. And I don't know what kind of delay there is from here because I haven't done it from here before. So, well, hello from Wisconsin. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Catherine. Hello from Tennessee to Tennessee. Hey, Lois. So, you guys are finding it. Good, good, good. I was just trying to make sure everybody was able to find the link because I had to delete it and start again right at the last minute. It didn't go live like it should have, like I was used to it doing. I hope you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up or something. Well, you must be able to hear me, Doreen, because you. Hey, Linda, because you asked me a question. So I have missed you guys too. I've really been looking to forward to it this week. It's like getting back together with old friends, which I guess is what we are. So that's pretty cool. Hey, Cindy. Okay, the sound is good. Excellent. Near Memphis. So that's a pretty good drive from here. That's about 8 hours. So, hey, Donna from Michigan. Yay. Donna, I saw a note from you. I'll try to take care of that tomorrow. Sorry about that. I have been out sick for most of the week. I came back toward the end of the week. That was fun. So I might sound a little congested, but I'm getting better. Been a lot of people around here sick. Not like a awful sick, just like a cold, but a cold that didn't go away. So that's no fun. So I'm actually sitting in the fabric room, the linen room. I'm sorry, Linda. Um, Maybe it's just a connection issue. Oh yeah, thank you for that, Doreen. Doreen's done this before. It has been, I mean, I want to say the last time we did a live video like this might have been 20. I know we did it in 2022. It could have been 23. I can't remember. It's been a long time. So for those of you who are coming back, welcome back. And for those of you who it's your first time, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Let me see if I can make this big because I know I'm probably looking at the wrong place on the screen. Maybe I can't. Let me see. There we go. That's better. So, Franklin, that's nice. Franklin's beautiful, Allison. It is really pretty. Very pretty. Rocky Mount, I see. That's awesome. That's not too far away. Well, I've got some things on my agenda to talk to you about and to get some feedback from you on. So, we'll let a few more people join since I kind of probably pushed everybody off when I had to restart. And I'll apologize again for that. But one of the things that I wanted to mention is the stitch along that we quote unquote start along. What's the little crown with the number 2 next to it? That, I don't know. I guess that means that you are, I think that has to do kind of with some kind of ranking on YouTube. I've seen that in other places because some people like, maybe that's your commenting status on here. I don't really know. I'll have to look that up. I didn't do it. You just earned it somewhere in YouTube land. So this is a kitten stitcher release. The picture does not do it justice. I showed it in one of my a better picture of it in my one of my videos. But this was my birthday start along, and I hate to admit this, but I haven't started it yet because I've been really struggling. Yeah, you're a queen. I've been really struggling with fabric and threads, and so I've picked a bunch of stuff. And then I was waiting for something to come, which it came today. Well, it probably came last night, and I saw it today. And so I'm pretty excited. I'm going to show it to you. So you're going to be a great grandmother in December, Linda. That's fantastic. at crocheting a teddy bear romper right now. That's pretty awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm getting ready to have my eighth great nephew. So, well, I'm not having him. My niece is. So, my niece, whose name is Lauren Kimberly, she was named after me. She was born when I was 22, and she had her first baby last August, and he was a boy, and he was my seventh great nephew. And it's his picture that I put up on the website, on the group, not the website, on the group. But she took his foot and she stamped it, and then she made a little squirrel out of it, and she brought it to me with him, and he gave it to me. It was really cute. So I'm going to put it in a frame and keep it in the shop. But um, his name is James, and he has a little brother coming in November, and it will be my eighth great nephew. I have no great nieces; they're all boys, so that's pretty fun. Manitoba. Well, hello, Joanne. So the stitch along, start along, is the green bean sampler. And when I saw this come out, which was a year or so ago, I fell in love with it. And then some friends of mine were here in the shop, and they wanted to pick something that we could stitch together. Well, actually, they picked this sampler, I think. And I was like, oh, I love that. I want to stitch that. And so we decided to do a start along. And then I struggled and I struggled with what to stitch it on. And I think when it came out, I bought the kit. I bought the fabric at least with the chart from Kitten Stitcher because I like Teresa a lot. She's pretty cool. And I wanted to see what that fabric looked like that it was supposed to be on. And I can't find it to save my life. And that's just the way it goes. So I have pulled something else that I really liked, and I've looked at it now for a few weeks, and I went and I pulled threads for it, and for some reason this particular stitch is calling to me. It's charted with maybe I sold it. No, I took it home. I never brought it to the shop. I took it home and kept it. It was my personal stash. I don't do that often, but often when I do, I buy from Kitten Stitcher. So there you go. Um, it's charted for Gentle Arts and Week Style Works and a little bit of Classic Color Works. And I really, really, for whatever reason, had in my head that I want to do it with Cosmo. And so I did a Cosmo conversion for it. And then I went and tried to pull the overdyes, and I was out of a lot of overdyes. And it's just been it just is. And so we, have some orders out, and I reordered again today, and hopefully we'll start getting them in. Um, but I want to show you what I chose for fabric, and I think I'm sticking with this. I chose a fiber on the whim called Cypress. And it might look kind of gray here. You can tell I'm going the opposite way. I'm so not used to doing this. It's a green gray. It's kind of like a misty forest floor kind of gray. Green, gray. So you won't miss talking to me by the time this is over. You'll be like, oh my gosh, that was a long hour. So this is the fabric I'm going with, and it's fiber on a whim Cypress, and I love it. And I looked at a lot of different things. I really pulled out lots of different things here in the shop and looked at them. And this is what I settled with. And I had some folks here who were, chiming in and giving me their opinion too. I like to think I'm good with color. I'm okay with color. Everybody sees color differently. I don't know if you guys knew that, but we do. And so it's always good to get various opinions. But these are the Cosmos. I'm trying to show these to you without them all falling off. These are the Cosmos, and they're beautiful. And if anybody wants this conversion, I will post this for you along with the information for the sampler. I knew there was a limit to how long that would last. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous group of Cosmo. And these are all the called for DMCs converted to Cosmo. So there's that. And then, I thought about doing it with the overdyes that it's called for. And I thought about doing it with a combination. And then I kind of jumped over to something I knew I was going to love. Well, one of you, I don't remember who, one of you were in the shop and by you I mean my tribe out there. And you posted, you told me that you had ordered Vicky Clayton silk for it, and then you sent me a picture. I think you sent me a picture of it, and so I wasn't sure if I could get it from Vicky. We do carry Vicky Clayton silk, so just FYI, I think I just dropped one on the floor. We'll get it later. Um, we carry Vicky Clayton silks in kits, and it's usually the kits for the things that models that I've stitched with it, or things that somebody else in the shop or a customer has stitched with it that we've seen that we love. Anyway, or it's favorite things, things that I want to stitch. But we carry them in kits. We don't carry the full line, and we figure if you need to have every Vicky Clayton color, you can get those from Vicky, which is great. But we want to be able to offer you kits for things that you see in here. And I've decided to stitch it with the Vicky Clayton silks, I guess is my ending. So these are the ones. So she's switching off of the spools, and this is how they're coming now when they're not on the spool, which personally I love. I am not a spool lover. These are the spools, and I always take them off of the spool. And I'll tell you what I do with it. I only do it with Vicky Clayton silks because I've stitched a few things with her silks and I love them. If you've not, you have nothing to fear. I love them. They're really, really beautiful, and they're reasonably affordable, and they're just gorgeous. And she does great conversions. And so, and if you have some of her silks already and you've got a lot left, you can go look at her conversion, because once she's done a conversion for something, she'll list it on her website. I feel like my hair is like wonky looking somewhere. I don't know what's going on with that. I apologize. See, I edit all that stuff out on the YouTube videos. um, she will post the conversion into her silk on her website for every sampler that she's converted. So if you already own a bunch of these, you can go out and look and see what she's converted and just buy the ones that you need. If you need a whole kit, you can get them from us if you'd like to. We definitely have them, and we've got more coming, because when I opened this up today, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm going with. So I don't like them on the spools, and I was going to tell you what I did with them. And I think I've told you one time before. Hey, Barbara, yay! I take them all off the spools and I put them on. Um, I had some playing cards for Harry Potter that I bought one time. And then I was like, why did I buy those cards? Because I don't know what to do with them. I mean, I hardly ever play cards. And when I do, usually, I caught Everett and I had to play cards during COVID because we had no power. And and in the middle of it, we realized he was cheating. I don't think he meant to, but he was. And so I didn't want to play anymore. So anyway, um, I took the cards, the Harry Potter cards, and I punched a big hole in them. And I use those for my thread loop things, thread keeps. And I love that because it lets me enjoy those playing cards, and they're nice and they're coated, so they don't tear up very easily. And that's great because with the Vicky Clayton silks, I leave them on there and I stick the sticker on the card for each one of them so that I know what it is. So she's moving away from the spools. I think the spools have been hard to get, and she's moving to this, which I think is really nice for shipping. I don't know that I will keep it on here. Well, I know I won't. I'll put mine on those cards that I was just telling you about. You probably could keep it on here, but I think you're going to have to open that up to get it off. And then I do like to pre-cut mine because I'm using it for cross stitch. I'm not using it for needlepoint. If I'm using thread for needlepoint, just a helpful hint, I don't pre-cut, because in needlepoint you can end up doing some stitches that use a lot of thread. Hey, Kendra. You can end up using a lot of thread and you need more than what you've cut it, and I usually cut mine to like 24-inch lengths. Somewhere between 18 and 24. I kind of like 24. I don't really like 18. It's too short unless I'm doing a really a silk that's kind of fragile or metallic. And then I'm metallic, I will cut it at 18 inches or shorter if I have to. So these are part of the silks. These are the ones that she's already converted to. Sorry, I'll get used to that in a minute. that she's already converted to these tabs. And then there are a number more that are on the spools. And I don't have a great way to show it to you just yet, but that's part of them. Very pretty. Let's get the other part up here. The purple is just so pretty, and the green and the blue. These are the others. So there's like, for me, for this, there were 10 on spools and 7 on tabs, so 17 colors, or at least 17 sets. Maybe some of them might be the same color, and I might have needed, 10 yards. So if you haven't ever used Vicky Clayton silks, they are 6-strand silks. They are variegated, so or over dyed, I guess, rather than variegated, meaning you can see some gentle color change in it, but it's not as stark like, which that's typically what variegated means. And so this is what I'm using. I've rambled all through that, but I think you're with me now. So these are the others. So when you see this again, which might be in a regular floss tube, you'll see it on those cards. And hopefully you'll see some in the fabric. So I know my buddies are going to be upset with me. I didn't get it started. I don't know why. I've had trouble. I don't usually have trouble finding what I want to stitch with. Hey, Michelle. Welcome. I usually marry up pretty quick. I don't have any trouble. So again, if you didn't see it, this was cypress. And this is a fiber on a whim fabric. We do carry quite a bit of fiber on a whim. We have quite a bit of cypress. We've got it in different counts. I think we've got it in 36, 40, and 32. This particular sampler, I think you can stitch on, you could probably even stitch it on Ada. I don't think it has any specialty stitches. So let me just look at it really quick. This is a sampler again, if you came in late. That's not the greatest picture, but it's the Jenny Beans Green Bean sampler, and I just fell in love with it. I mean, I mentioned in another video that the chart itself, I think, is a work of art. I mean, it is so beautiful. The colors in it are fantastic. I can't show it to you because it is the chart, but just so beautiful. And I'm a green person. So if you don't like green, you could do this on something else, but you can see the little green beans hanging there, which are kind of cool. I love green beans out of the garden. I will not eat them out of a metal can. And I can tell where they came from. And I guess it's because my parents had a garden. We were like one of the only people in my town, which is the town of Woodfin. I know people still say we're in Weaverville, but we're in Woodfin, North Carolina. We're just right across the line. There's Asheville, North Carolina. Right across the line from Asheville is Woodfin, and we border Asheville on a few different sides. And then right on our other side of Woodfin is Weaverville. And then you get out into the country. And so we're in Woodfin now, just barely over the line. But I like that because I grew up in Woodfin. And I like to say that I'm back in my hometown, and I am. And I like to say that all of the real property that I own, the real estate that I own, is in my hometown, which it is. I've sold a few things, so I'm down to just the Baird house and a couple other things. I think I mentioned this somewhere else. I'm not a real good landlord. I don't like to raise the rent. I don't like to make people's life hard. I'm not good at it from a financial perspective. I want everybody to have a place to live and for it to be affordable. So that means that I never make any money on it. So that's just not good. And I hate the stock market. I'm a CPA, which you guys probably knew that. And I have a abhorrence for volatility. I hate volatility, which, hey, Linda, thank you. Oh, yeah, you eat frozen. So I don't mind frozen. I will eat them frozen, but I won't eat them from a metal can. And I can taste it. And maybe somebody snuck them in on me. I don't know, but usually I can tell. But I love them out of a mason jar. Love. However, we've not grown any green beans ourselves. I did can some a couple years ago with my sister-in-law. They usually grow them. I was telling you about the garden we had when I was growing up. We were like one of the only families in this town that still had a big garden. We actually had a horse, and it was the only horse in Woodfin. at that time. I'm sure in the past there were lots of horses, but we had a barn. And, when I was a very young kid, my family grew tobacco still because everybody here grew tobacco. And then when I was just a little bit older, they had stopped growing tobacco, and we still had the barn. Then they burned the old big tobacco barn down and built a small horse barn. So we had this horse. Named Dobbin. And I didn't realize until like a year ago why it was named Dobbin. And it was just a Tennessee Walker horse. And my siblings had their own horses. But by the time I came around, we were just down to one horse, and it really belonged to my uncle. My dad and my uncle shared property that used to be my grandparents. And I read somewhere the other day, I finally decided to look up what Dobbin meant. And I don't know why I was thinking about it. And Dobbin is an old term for a good, steady, hardworking horse or something like that. It was like a nickname that, has been passed down through, travel over to the US from Europe. And it's just an old English word for just a good old horse. And so I thought that was kind of neat. Because it was an old horse. And I used to get in trouble for jumping on a bareback. Well, I say jump. I didn't jump. I climbed up on an old one of those old clawfoot bathtubs that was in the field that we kept water and stuff in for him. And I would climb up on the edge of the tub and then get on the horse. And I knew how to bridle it. So I would bridle it, but then I would ride it bareback, which wasn't good for the horse. So I got fussed at for that, but it was all good. Um, yeah, so we always had fresh vegetables. Now Everett and I have grown um we have grown the last 3 years a little garden. Sorry, I'm gonna get something to drink. My throat's a little dry. You did see a Mountain Dew there, but I'm not kidding you. I think in the last 3 months I've only drank like three. So that's the third one. That's okay. Um, and I did lose 10 pounds by stopping drinking Mountain Dew, and I felt better. So there you go. It's definitely better not to drink it. So do as I say, not as I do. Don't drink Mountain Dew. It's bad for you. Um, let's see. You remember coming here in the 90s and there were lots of, yeah. You could drive down the road that goes out through Leicester, which is where I live with my husband. And he was raised out there, and he's just across the street from his family's farm. Just driving down that road, there were tobacco fields on both sides. And this time of year and a little bit later in the summer, you could smell the tobacco. And it's actually a really nice, sweet smell. Now, I don't smoke. I've never smoked a cigarette. You know, I have an addiction to sugar, so I have my own issue, but fortunately that's not my problem. Um, I don't like the smell of smoke per se, but the tobacco plant itself is an ancient plant, and it has a really nice sweet smell to it. It's neat. And I saw some in a field yesterday going to dinner. It's the only time I've seen any this year. People do not grow it anymore. The government paid us to stop growing tobacco, and so we just don't grow it anymore. Uh, Tareen. Well, quit forever. I bet my husband did. He lost like 12 pounds when he stopped drinking sweet tea because his addiction is sweet tea. When he stopped drinking sweet tea, he lost some weight from that. But he's a guy, and they can skip a meal and lose weight. So I don't really know that means anything. But having said that, he has actually lost, I want to say like 30 pounds in the last 6 months or so. And he's done it he's quit drinking sweet tea, and he stopped eating so much food out, which is actually how I lost a little bit of weight too. I started cooking at home. So that makes a difference, and cut out carbs. And I need to lose a whole lot more, but I'll get there. I'm not worried about it. Well, I am worried about it, but I'm not going to obsess about it. We do what we do the best we can. So all that rambling aside, the green bean sampler. And if you guys are new, let me just welcome you all again. I did it in the beginning, but if you're coming back and you were here for the COVID stitch and chats we had, I appreciate it. I have missed you. I really have. And it was actually Everett's idea to do it again. I was telling him that, I was kind of missing that. And he was like, well, it is different from Zoom because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we've got a touch point here, which we don't. Well, Zoom you do too, but I guess I'm thinking more about the regular videos. This is very different from a regular floss tube video because I feel like we get to interact. Zoom we can interact too, but it's hard to find a time, I guess, where everybody can be there. So maybe between doing this and Fourth Friday Stitch, we'll all get connected again. But I have missed you guys, and it was his idea. And so when I threw it out on the Facebook page, and then most of you were interested in it, I was glad. So I'm glad to see you all back. Thank you for coming back. And if you're new, welcome, welcome. And I do a lot of rambling, but I try to answer questions and stuff too. Having said that, I'm not used to talking to people this much. I have an agenda item, and I would like to get your feedback on it. What I would like to do is, I didn't plan it for today because I wanted to talk to you about it first. I would like to have a prepared short little video for each one of these sessions every week that either shows you a specialty stitch or a tool or a technique. And you can participate with the specialty stitch part, or you can just watch and enjoy, and you might already know how to do that one. And I want to do it in a prepared video that I would show, like, 10 minutes in, give everybody time to get here, maybe 15 minutes in, and then we can talk about it. And I want your feedback on that, if you would be interested in that. It won't always be a stitch. It might sometimes be a tool or a technique or something that I think is important. But I'd like to make this have a little value for you, as well as just hanging out together. I mean, I love hanging out with you, and I appreciate you being here every time you're here with me in whatever format. But I wanted to take that opportunity to show you something. And so what I'm thinking is that, because we talked about it a lot during COVID, that you guys wanted to do kind of a specialty sampler thing. And I was thinking about doing it on, videos on YouTube, and kind of like we did the Jeanette Douglas thing, which I think I owe you 3 more stitches, although it's recorded. I think I just have to edit it and post it. But I'd like for you to do this from stash if you can. And all you would need is a skinny piece of fabric. So, and by skinny, I mean like 4 inches wide at the most. You don't want it wider than that. It's too much. And so anywhere from 3 inches to 4 inches wide. I'd say at 4 inches, you have plenty of room to do an edging stitch on it. You might want it to be 18 inches long, which is a half yard. And then if we fill that up, you fill it up, then I'll show you a joining stitch and you can put another piece on it, and we'll just carry on, and we'll do this until something happens, until we just don't want to do it anymore. But I thought that would be fun, and especially if we break it up and we don't always do a stitch. And if you're interested in that, definitely let me know. And then also, I want you to give me suggestions if there's something that you would just like to see illustrated that you want a little bit of help with, or something that you heard about that you want some feedback on. So, you can tell me during the videos, or you can send me an email, and I'll be on the lookout for that. And you can if you send me an email, put Stitch and Chat or something like that, and I will make sure that I take a note on that. So I have some ideas to get us started, and then, we'll go from there. So I'm hoping that you guys are interested in it. If you're not interested in it, tell me that too. Don't be afraid to tell me no. It won't hurt my feelings. I just thought it would be something interesting to do, something fun to do. We can also do other things too. I just want to have something in here that has something you can take away from the video, besides anything verbal that we might share, something tangible. So I would love to do that with you if you are interested in that. I think that would be a whole lot of fun. And I can even put together, you'll have the little videos, and what I will do is I'll show them to you here, and then I'll put them in their own little playlist out on our YouTube channel as a tutorial. And if you need written instructions, I'll try to give you some written diagrams too. If you are looking for a resource for stitches, the Royal School of Needlework is just an amazing resource they've got out there. So the thing about it is, though, it doesn't always match what you're trying to do. So, like what we found, I used it for one of the soirees recently. It wasn't exactly what we needed. It wasn't exactly what I had charted. And so I showed it to them, but I owe them actually videos with the exact number of threads or boxes on Ada. So, if you're an Ada stitcher, you won't be left out, because any stitch that I show, I will show it on linen and Ada. And if it can't be done on Ada, I'll show you an alternative to make it also look good on Ada. So I think too often people feel like, oh, it's a specialty stitch, you can't do that on Ada. That's not really true. There's lots of specialty stitches that work just as well on Ada as they do on linen, because linen really is just 4 little Ada stitches put together. So it just kind of depends on the stitch, but I would like to do something like that with you too. So yes, finishing techniques. Yeah, finishing techniques, absolutely. I almost did that tonight, to be honest. That was on my list for tonight, and then I started struggling with the whole thing not going live, and I punted on that. So we'll do some. Yeah, I'll put that on the list. We'll mix that in. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about some finishing options, and some things that are available to you. And, we do have a few tutorials out there. We've got a lot more getting ready to drop. So, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to write it down right now, Doreen, so I don't forget that. Thank you, Mom. Okay. So with that, maybe what I will do is I will also pre-record a little video. We'll watch it together. We can talk about it, critique it, and you can ask me questions. Yeah. Stitching 1/1. It's a good one. That's not always fun. There is a technique to it. There's a few that when you figure those out, it makes it good. Okay, so now that's an interesting question. Cross stitch or embroidery. Maybe we'll mix it in, because one of the things that I've been doing more of in the last year and a half is embroidery. Gold work in particular, but also embroidery. So I will mix that into. There's a really, really great, I think it's on Instagram, and I'll try to find the name for it and have it ready for you next time and post it somewhere. She does it's just videos of her doing specialty stitches or stitches in embroidery. It's all embroidery. And I'm always floored at how simple and beautiful it is. And it's just a single stitch, and she'll illustrate it, and it's really quick. It's like a 15-second video. And it's beautiful. So sorry, throat is dry. I'm still a little bit congested from being sick last week. So embroidery would be great too. So I'm all for it. So maybe we'll waffle back and forth around those things. Maybe it'll be finishing, specialty stitches on counted linen, and then embroidery stitches. Those 3 things. I think that would keep us busy for a while. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being embroidery. I was very intimidated by embroidery for a long time, which is funny because that's the first thing I learned to do. I was 6 years old, and my mother taught me and then sent me next door to the neighbor lady, and she taught me more. And it was mostly to keep me busy because I was annoying. It's hard to believe, but I was very annoying. And my mom was an older mom, and she was just tired of me because I wanted to be busy. I'm sure that comes as no surprise. I wanted to be busy. And I'll never forget her telling me, only boring people get bored, Kim. And that was to get me going. And I have kind of adopted that as a motto in life. And I'm rarely bored because I stay busy. So, I like black work too. I'll put that down here. I love black work. So there's if you guys aren't familiar with peppermint purple, I think that's what it's called. She does a free black work design every year, and if you keep up with it during the year, it's all free. Then at the end of the year, you have to purchase it for the year. If it's if you want last year's or whatever. But peppermint purple, just every week there's a new black work pattern that she gives you, and it falls into a design. And I've got one of hers going that I love. So yeah, we can work that into. That'd be a whole little lesson that I would say would be in counted work. Um, so yeah, fun stuff. Okay, that sounds good. Um, let's see, what else did I have on my list? So if you do decide that you want to jump in and do a little stitching with us, I just think you need a long strip of fabric, and I would encourage you not to use a high count linen for the counted work. I won't call it cross stitch because it's not really cross stitch. It's all specialty stitches. The same stitches you can use in embroidery, and I just said I wasn't going to call it cross stitch. But counted work and non-counted work are same embroidery stitches. One of them you're counting the threads, and one of them you're not. But the stitch would look the same if you blurred out the lines on the if you blurred out the grid. So the only difference is that one is counted and one is not, but the stitch structure itself will be the same. So I say we'll mix it up a little bit, but you know, I'll show you some stuff on uncounted and counted linen. So it'll be fun. Um Sashiko, Debbie coming in with the Sashiko. Yes, well, I'll have to teach myself some Sashiko. I've done a little bit of it. Debbie and I meet together on Mondays, and we work on an Orniway project that we have been working on for more than a year. And she also does Sashiko as a break from that. She does a lot of different things. But we sell a lot of Sashiko here in the shop. People love it. It's very meditative. We can definitely look at Sashiko too. I'll put that on the list. And I'm sorry, I keep coughing. It just is. So maybe what I'll do is when I schedule each week's video, I will put out there kind of what you can expect us to cover. Not that it should matter. I hope you'll join just to chat. The whole thing won't be that. I'll try to keep that little section to like a 10 or 15-minute window. Because you can always rewatch the video later. But just a little high level thing of some of those things. That sounds good. I'm looking at comments to see if I missed anything. Am I going to be able to keep up with it? Well, we're going to be getting together every Sunday night anyway, unless I'm away or sick. So I will be away a little bit in September. I'm going to a gold work class, so I'm excited about that. So, and I'm going to be in a different time zone, and I don't think I'll be able to do this there because of the late time here, and it would be a lot later there. So there might be a few weeks in September. So yes, we'll be able to do it because we'll be doing it anyway. And I already do a lot of specialty stitches for different reasons and videoing of those for different things that we're doing for soiree and stuff like that. So we will we'll use our time wisely, and it'll cover many things. So yeah, but that's a good question. Okay, so we talked about the green bean sampler. We talked about the demo part. We'll just call it demo because it might be specialty stitches. It could be a type of needlework like black work or sashiko, or it could be finishing. That's all fun for me. If you decide you want to do the stitching, then you get yourself a piece of fabric. So if you're going to do it as embroidery, um, or you might do both. I've got embroidery linen. I'll get that on the website for you. We'll talk more about it next week. We won't start it next week. Next week, I'm going to show you some finishing, so you don't have to worry about it. But be thinking about if you want to do it. You just need a strip. Really, if you make it wider than 4 inches, not much wider. And the first thing I'll teach you, or in addition to one of the specialty stitches, will be an edging stitch. There's 2 or 3 I'd like for you to know how to do that we've done in the soiree. So if you've done the soiree, you've already been exposed to that, but you'll need to edge that fabric. I don't want to offer you banding. Of course, you can use banding, and I've got some banding. I don't have enough to cover off something like this. And I would encourage you to just use something from your stash. So if you've got banding and you want to use that, that's fine. Banding is already just a long strip that's got finished long edges, and the short edges would be unfinished. But if you don't, just take a strip of fabric. Oh, I was going to tell you, I don't think you should do it on a high count. If you're doing counted, don't do a high count linen. Don't do like 40 count. Really, if you're going to do a 36 count, do a solid dyed. Don't do an over dyed, because it gets tighter than 36. We counted out some 46 count linen yesterday for my friend Pat, who's local here, who's a customer too. And she was buying some 46 count. We did a test stitch on it, which that's something I'll show you how to do if you haven't done that. It's been a long time since I've shown that. And we test stitched that, and it came out to 48, but it was an even 48. It was 48 on the warp and the weft. And so that was fine, but it was tighter than 46. So over-dyed fabrics tighten up through their process of getting dyed, washed, dried, and ironed. And so I would encourage you to use a 32 count maybe, if you're gonna use linen. And if you're gonna use Ada, use whatever count you want. As long as you can see it, you can do it on Ada. And if you want to do the embroidery part, you can really do embroidery on anything. But there is linen that's made for embroidery, and I will make some of that available for you and get you out there. Nikki Franklin's embroidery. I'll have to check that out. I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to write that down. And we do have a lot of, if you like embroidery, we do have a lot of kits and stuff in the shop, and we just added some more. And I have another helper. I'm kind of short on help right now, so that's one reason it's been a little hard to tie me down on things. But I have a helper who's not working in the shop, but she works at home, and she adds stuff to the website. And so that's been really, really helpful. So we've been getting more stuff out there because we were behind on that. So we'll get that ready for you. I wanted to mention that I don't have it opened up right now, but tomorrow I will open up the next soiree. And so if you're not in the soiree and you've been thinking about it, it's a good time to do it. You can just pick up the next one. It's going to be a Mexican small sampler. They're all about 6x4, 6x5, 7x5. They finish up pretty small, and they're on 32 count linen or Ada. You can just tell me which one you want to do. And so the next one is going to be October the 11th. So that's a date change. We had to change that date because right after that, and this is already open for registration, is the workshop with Romy and Simona. So if you can attend in person and you want to come to that, Romy and Simona, it's a sassy little Halloween workshop. That's open, and there's still some seats in there, and you can sign up for it. But that forced us, we had an issue with the hotel date, and we had to shift around, and it forced us to move our soiree date. So if you're in the soiree, we pulled it a week earlier, and so it'll be October the 11th, and it'll be a sweet little Mexican sampler. It'll be fun. So you'll be able to sign up for the soiree starting tomorrow, And you can already sign up for Romy and Simona if you can come for that. If you can't come for that, but you really, really love the kits, um, at some point I'll have some kits available. So, um, I totally understand not everybody can travel. So I worked it out with those guys and I'm able to buy some extra kits. So at some point I'll have some of those kits available for you. And if you're ever looking for class kits, I usually keep them a really, really long time. Hey, Lori, yay. Yes, I'll talk about Jeanette Douglas. We'll talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. Um, I usually keep the any extra class kits, and there aren't always extras, but if the designer offers them to me, I usually will buy them, and then I keep them for most of the time a couple years, and then I let them out. I probably won't hold these Romy and Simona that long. Um, so, but I will hold them for a little while. So if you want to work those projects, but you're not able to come, don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. There's still hope. I always like to give people hope. At some point, I'll have those kits available. But if you can come, come. That's the moral of that story. And then because I do know that a lot of people can't travel, I always try to do at least one workshop a year outside of the soirees. I know we do soirees, but I try to do at least one, designer workshop a year that is online. And so this year it is Needle Made Designs, Linda Vincent. If you are in the soirees, you know about that. So I'll be posting that this week for folks, and it it has more availability because it's online. I do have a cap on it, and I don't know if we'll hit that cap or not, but it's not huge because I'm conscious that we want Linda to be able to interact with everybody. However, she is going to let us record it, and so that's a workshop that if you if you can't attend on the day of, you can watch the video. And Linda gives really great instruction, so I think you would be able to get through the kit without actually being in physical attendance or in virtual attendance. I think you could watch the video for her stuff. So that is going to be November the 8th on a Saturday. And so I haven't given that a name yet, but it's Needle Made Design, Linda Vincent, and it's a British theme to it. So it's a schoolgirl satchel, which is a little etui, so it'll open up. It's actually that part's on banding with some blue stripes on kind of a natural color banding. And I'll have pictures and stuff and everything when I put it out for sign up. So kind of keep your eyes open for that. If you're not on our newsletter, please sign up for the newsletter. I've been trying to be better about getting newsletters out, but I've been keeping them really short. If you're on if you got any of our old newsletters, I'd like to tell a story in there, and I'll try to do that once a month. I haven't done one yet. I kind of have to wait till the mood hits me. But I'll try to keep doing that because I know some of you enjoy that. But sign up for the newsletter because I've been pretty good about, like yesterday when we did the SWAT Alger sale, and when we've done the other Friday sales, I'll send a newsletter out as soon as everything's online and ready. And so it's always good. So I will say we've got another one coming up this Friday that'll be something different. It's a class kit. So I think it's going to be a class kit. I'm waiting on a thread to come in. If I don't get the thread, it won't be this Friday. It'll be something else, but I've got something else I can do too. So we've got some of those lined up for the next few Fridays. So we call them Fabulous Fridays, and it's not every Friday. It's every few Fridays. We'll put something on sale. We've been trying to work through back stock of overstock, I guess is what I would say, of different. So far, we've had threads. We've done Dinky Dyes. We've done 103, and we just did SWAT Alger. There are still SWAT Alger kits left out there. So if you're interested, if you like to stitch with silks, it's a really good deal because they just went up in price a couple weeks ago, and it won't surprise me if they go up again. And so you're saving a pretty good, I'd say about a third of the price off. I didn't calculate it like that, but it's a pretty good deal. It's 7 skeins for $25, and they are already pre-grouped. You don't get to choose your colors. We put them in color groups, and it's really, really, really nice and pretty stuff. So there's still a whole lot left. Some of the colors sold out because we didn't have as many of those, but some of them still have stuff out there. So if you didn't get in on that and you want to go to the homepage, it's right there. You can just click on it, and it'll take you, and you can pick the ones you want. So one thing I haven't mentioned. Let me see if there's anything new in here. Okay, I got to come back to Jeanette Douglas. Yes, thank you, Linda. Yeah, I do want to include people no matter where you live. So I fell in love, and of course I did, because it's stuff out of my own head, but I fell in love with the little logo that I made for this Stitch and Chat, with the squirrel and the black cat that looked just like Herschel. And I'm sure you guys saw it because it was the posting. So I've got some swag coming with that, and I'm over the moon about it. So I've got some needle minders coming, and some stickers coming, and we'll see what else we might do with that. But and honestly, if you guys don't like them, I can put them all over the walls and I can live with them myself. And I feel bad that I'm in the shop tonight, because normally I will do this from home, but I just couldn't get my act together since I was sick most of the week. Poor Ever offered to help me today while I was here doing some other stuff, and I said, no, I didn't make him do that, but I have to clean up my room. I have to clean my room, Mom. So I have to clean my room. But we'll do these from home. That's the other big cool thing about this, I think, so that you can see that cat of mine that you haven't seen in a couple of years. He's a big boy now. He's all grown up. He's not overweight. He is a little overweight, but he is just a really big cat. I mean, he is a big cat. His hind legs and his body length are just, he's just a very long cat and a very tall cat. And he still has that baby face though, so it's so fun. Thanks, Linda. Yeah, so this one is for us. So this is our Stitch and Chat logo. And I'll do some with Sassy Jacks and stuff too. I need to do more branding with that. I've got some stuff coming for Herschel's Helpers, which I'll talk to you about that next week with finishing. And I already have stuff done with that. And I have some new stuff for Sassy Jacks, but you know how I am. I get it done, and then I like to just sit on it for a little while. I don't know why. I feel like a dragon with its hoard. I'm like, and I just sit on everything for a little while till I'm ready to let it out there. Are they really, Barb? Wow. Well, yeah, Herschel towers over every cat that he's been around. And Elizabeth had her cat here. He doesn't have any hair. He's a hair-free cat, a sphinx. I always say it wrong. And so he doesn't have any hair. And she's brought him into the shop for maybe like an hour at a time, like 2 or 3 different times. And he can come because he doesn't have hair. Herschel can't come to the shop because he has a lot of hair and he doesn't mind sharing it. And so it's one thing for him to share it at home on my stuff. It's another thing to have his black hair on anything else in the shop. So he does not get to come to the shop. But Harry, gotta love that name, Elizabeth's hair-free cat. It was named that when she got him. He gets to come every once in a while. And he looks big in pictures, and he's half the size of Herschel. And when I see other cats, because I don't see other cats very often, I'm always amazed at, like, it reminds me how big Herschel is. And I'm like, wow, he's a massive beast. And he thinks he's a baby. And so he tries to make this tiny little ball. And it's just very interesting to me, the way animals are. They're funny. Yes, it's one of those, Linda. I can't say that word. I don't know why. Sphinx. That's the closest I can get. That might be right. It might not. But yeah, so we have some other stuff coming too, but this will be for the Stitch and Chat. I think I took the Stitch and Chat word off of it, and I just put Sassy Jacks on it so that it could be for anything. But if you guys want it to say Stitch and Chat, we could do that on something else. We can put it back on there. Those were all the things I had on my book except for Jeanette Douglas, because Lori asked me about it. I think it was Lori. I need the Glorianas for that. So I have selected the fabrics, and I've talked to Anne at Gloriana, and she said she had them in stock. I'm the one that needs to get those in here. So I have an order for her ready to go because I had a whole bunch of other Gloriana I had to order, and there are 7 of them. And then there's lots of other choices. So I meant to do it this past week, and then I wasn't, I didn't even come into the shop until I think I came for an hour on Wednesday morning, and I started to cough again, and I had to go back home. And so I really have only been here a couple days this week, and we were wide open, which I'm so grateful for. And let me just say, so that I don't forget, thank you for the orders that you place with us. And thank you for the support online, on social media, and everything else. I know that you have lots of options. Um, and there's more options every day, and we just really appreciate you. We could not keep doing this if you guys didn't support us, whether it's with your purchases or the love that you show us online. It's just all really super important. It keeps people employed, and it keeps the lights on. And some of you, I guess, I haven't talked to since Helene. That was amazing. Thank you for all that you did to keep us um, going during the aftermath of Helene, and for all of the concerns and thoughts and prayers, as Helene happened, and then as the recovery took place. So we just really appreciate you. I personally appreciate you. I really, really do. I love doing this. And you play through scenarios in your head. Okay, well, if you don't do this, what do you do? And I mean, for me, I guess I stitch. I don't think I'm going to go back to doing the accounting thing. I think that's in my past. I don't want to do that anymore. So unless I can't afford to eat, I'm not going to do that. If I can't afford to eat, or somebody really, like my sister-in-law runs a tax business, if she needed my help, I would work with her and help her. Um, and I guess if I couldn't afford to feed my little cat or eat, I would have to go back to the doing that. Outside of that, if we had to close the shop, I think I would just stitch. So I think I would just, but I would get bored. Like my mom said, only boring people get bored. So I don't know that I have it in me not to do that. But I guess, I'm just telling you that because you always play through all these things in your head, especially as things change in the economy. And it is noticed, and it means something to me that you guys love our shop and support our shop. So thank you for that. Um, so Gloriana and Jeanette Douglas. I- you know, I'm hoping for a September 1st to really be able to get it all rolling for you and start posting videos. I am traveling in the middle part of September, really yeah, right in the middle, like around the 8th through the 20th or so. So I want to get it out to you before then and get some content posted. So that's kind of the plan for that. I want to give you all the options for the things that you need to purchase, and there will be people working in the shop while I'm gone that can fill orders and stuff. But I want you to have video content as well. So the goal for that is to get that stuff available to you so that you can get what you need if you need things, and then to get the content, some of the content out there to kick it off. No later than the 1st of September. So thanks for the question, Lori. Hopefully we'll get it all sorted. Yes, you do need to come and use that gift card. You sure do. Um, what if? Oh yeah. So yeah, I didn't mean to scare you with that. I didn't see that. No, I'm not closing. I'm not closing. Not unless you guys stop buying stitchy stuff. And then it would take me like 3 years before it ever sank in. And honestly, yeah, I think I'll always be here in the shop unless something happens to me. Because even if the shop weren't here, I'm not going to sell the building. I'll just sit in here and stitch, and y'all can just come and stitch, and we'd still keep doing our YouTubes and our stitching chats. But the shop is healthy. The shop is healthy, and I appreciate you for that. It takes a village, though. It does, and I just wanted you to know that I appreciate you. So I know there's lots of other fun places to shop, and I myself do shop at some of them, as I mentioned earlier. Um, and I always try to go see new shops. So I'm not I love going to new shops. And so I encourage you guys, if you ever get a chance to go to a shop, you should go. Um, it doesn't have to be this one, but you should never drive by a cross stitch shop that you've never been to and not stop in and go, because I detour quite a long ways to go to a new shop. I will tell you that I'm actually going up. One of you is from Wisconsin. I'm actually going to Wisconsin with my friend Erlene in October. I think right after the Romy and Simona class, I'm going up to Wisconsin to spend some time with one of my stitchy friends. So I want to enjoy her company. And I have decided that I need to make time for such things, because I don't always do that. And which is, making time for this, because I actually really enjoy this. So she is from Wisconsin, from Madison, but she lives in Florida. And she and we waffled around a bunch of different places, but we ended up in Wisconsin. So I'm going to get to go see. The reason I'm telling you is I think it's called Spring Green, which is a shop up there that I've never been to, that I've wanted to go to. So I think that's what it's called. Okay, so maybe it's called Country Sampler, and it's in Spring Green. And they actually have a retreat kind of center over their room, like over their shop. They have some guest rooms up there, and you can rent them out. And so it's very reasonably priced, and it's by person. So it doesn't matter how many people you have. I forget, there's like 6 beds. There's only 2 of us going, but um, you can rent the room out upstairs. And I think you're right above the shop. I might be wrong about that. Um, but I'm really excited about that. That's a good chance for me to catch up on some stitching and spend some time with a friend that I've had for 20 years that I just rarely get to see anymore. And so I'm excited about that. Country Sampler. Yeah, thank you, Kendra. Yes. So, yes, I could make a retreat sooner, Doreen. It's on my mind. It's on my mind all the time. I talk about it and think about it and try to figure it out all the time. So, yeah, just since I'm chatting and you're stitching, I hope. We own enough property here to put a little classroom building behind us. And when I say little, like, I think we would top out at seminar seating, which is 2 persons per table facing forward. You can seat less that way, but that's how I like to do technical classes where you are learning something. I think we would top out at 40, which is a good size class for that. I don't think you should go over that for something that's technical. For a sit and stitch, I think we could get to 60 in the size building that we could build. And we would have done it already if we had not had Helene. But Helene has still, right now, every contractor in the area is devoted to Helene cleanup and rework. And even my husband is still building a bridge. He's building a bridge down in Hot Springs as a part of Helene recovery. So there's still tons and tons of work. There's hardly any place for people who need to find a place to live. One of my friends is looking for a place to rent, and she's having a hard time because all the contractors are in all the rental houses. So I don't know when we'll get to actuate that and get that little building built, but it's on the list. And the issue with us will be then parking. So we own about an acre that goes far back, but if you've got 40 people in a class, you can count on 30 cars, because you've got people working in the shop and teaching in the class, and then lots of people will drive individually. So that's the issue for us. And so I've looked at property around us, beside us, and I found out, as fate would have it, that one of my cousins owns the property right above us, kind of, and right beside us. And so I don't know her. She's been away for a long time, but we're about the same age. She's a little bit younger. So that rumbles around in my head too. So yes. You are number 1 now. I guess it depends on how much you comment. I guess it does. Maybe that's what that means. That's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. So you guys get little crowns based on how much you comment. Okay. So I do have a few Summer House Stitchworks kits too. I know one person asked me about those. Again, I'm sensitive to not selling kits because people paid to come to class. So I like to keep them for quite a long time, but I'll see what I can figure out about that. Now, let me say, because I didn't get it out before, there, and this is another. So when I was ordering the swag for the Stitch and Chat, I came across the picture that I made a new picture. I made a new picture, a new logo for a page on our website called Alley Cats and Unicorns. And on the Alley Cats and Unicorns page, we put really unique things. They might be like class kits. Like there might be some Jeanette Douglas kits out there from a couple years ago or 3 years ago. We did have some Kathy Haberman kits. They're sold now. They're gone. But they were from like 2 or 3 years ago. Summer House Stitchworks maybe from about the same time. Anyway, that's where we go and put things that are kind of unique. And I actually put out there a couple things that um, I had acquired from Winterthur when I went there for a needlework conference. It wasn't samplers, it was just needlework. And I had some really amazing kits that I acquired there that I bought there that I know I'm not going to stitch. So I shifted them into the inventory of the shop and I put those out there. So I think there might still be one or two out there. Um, but I've got some, like, for example, I saw upstairs in some inventory that's not been put out yet ever since we opened the shop in 2014, some Just Nan little frames. Like if any of you ever stitched Just Nan, she had these beautiful little metal frames and she would design something for the inside and then you purchase the frame and there's a number of those frames up there. And there's actually some class kits from Nan that I've got. So stuff like that will show up on Alley Cats and Unicorns. So yes, so 250th stitch along. So look at Alley Cats and Unicorns for stuff like that. Um, oh, cool, Kim. That's good to know. Yeah, the stairs. Okay, well that won't be fun, but we'll pack a lot. So I'll tell my friend Erlene. She's she's a little older than me, but she's very fit. She gets around pretty well. So um, she was a swimmer most of her life. She's a pharmacist, so she's very fit. I'm the one that'll probably need help up the stairs. A 250th stitch long or patriotic. So somebody brought up in the soiree, Kendra, I think you were in the soiree, um, that they wanted the last design for the soiree. It's supposed to be an American sampler, and I don't have a whole lot of American samplers in my collection. And somebody suggested creating one that could be used as a celebratory 250th stitch. And so I'm definitely doing that for the soiree. Um, there's a lot of people that have done some good stuff. I hate to replicate what's out there. I'll take that cue from you. We can I can create one that would be fun, or a separate one from the one for the soiree, or we could choose somebody else's. So give me some feedback on what you think about that. Um, because I could go either way. Um, I don't mind designing. I enjoy it. It's fun. I have a really cool, okay, so I have a really cool, I forgot that I even had this. It's not an American sampler, but it was stitched in 1776. And it was displayed, believe it or not, in the original, the Great Exposition, the Victoria and Albert exposition in the 1800s. It was actually on display there, and I have the original backer board and all the provenance and everything for it. I bought it from a very well-known, uh, I guess, antiques sampler dealer here in the U.S. And my friend Barb Hudson of Queenstown Samplers alerted me to it because it had these great squirrels on it. And I'm pretty sure that one was a 1776. And I know I have another one. So maybe, I don't know. What do you want? You guys tell me what you want. So I can do an original design, or I could release, and I probably will now that I'm thinking about it, release those samplers next year, because it'll be the right, year. That'd be kind of cool for them. Um, or I could draw inspiration from one of those. But, I mean, we don't always have to do samplers. I can do a stitch along that's not a sampler. We do original design that's not sampler stuff here. So I'll put my mind to thinking, but you guys let me know what you think you might like to have too. So if you want to do that, we could do it for the stitch and chat. That would be fun. And launch it, I know everybody's doing stuff for that already, though, so I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but, you know, we can do something patriotic. You just have to tell me what you think you might like. It's worth the climb. The room's there. Good, good, good. What time is it now that I've been rambling? It's 9:15. Wow. Okay. Well, it's probably a good stopping point. Does anybody have any other questions or anything that you want me to cover today? So we will get together again next week. I do have a floss tube that's in production. It's actually in editing. I made it 2 weeks ago. And then we had Beth Seal here from Summer House Stitch Works, and I couldn't get time to edit it. And then I got sick. And when you feel really crummy, it's not a good time to edit anything. And so I didn't. And I almost had it finished today. So I'll probably have it finished tomorrow and put it out. Just realize that it's a little bit aged. I think it's fine. It doesn't have any content in it that's like sounds crazy. I deleted a couple things where I said I'm looking forward to Beth's class next week or whatever. So I went ahead and cut that out. But so there will be a new floss tube up. So I hope that you watch it. I hope you like and subscribe to us here on YouTube. I mean, it helps me a lot. I don't have any monetization out there yet. I know YouTube plops in commercials. At some point, I will try to take some more control over that when we get a little more regular, and that way I can drive where the commercials go and what they are, I think, a little bit. So I will try to do that, and then we'll have a little more control over that. But I would love it if you did like and subscribe, and please join the newsletter list. I think that's important. That's my quick, easy way to communicate with you all. And I hope that you do come back next week. That would be fun. And this chat will stay around, not mid-roll. Yeah, that's one thing I want to do. I want to get it out of the middle. I actually paid a little bit extra for my personal YouTube so that I don't see commercials, so I don't really ever know where they are. So I apologize if I'm kind of clueless about what's happening. If you ever see anything crazy, let me know. But I think that's all I have. If you guys have feedback for me, please send me an email or something like that. I would love to hear from you. I think we're getting our groove on back in here again, and it's fun. And the shop is looking beautiful. I will say that we got a ton of Atomic Ranch Lagana in, because you guys were asking us for Lagana and Ada. And the first two shipments got put on the website. I think the one that just came in is not, but it probably will be this week. And so check back on Lagana and Ada. And then I got a huge box that showed up yesterday from Manny DiDonna. And if you've not seen her linen, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So we'll get that on the website this week too. I mentioned the soiree. I mentioned the other classes. I don't think I can think of anything else. So I just really enjoyed this. I'm glad you guys came. And next week we'll do a little finishing demo, and we'll revisit some of these other things. And maybe I'll have the Jeanette Douglas stuff content rolling, or at least in progress for you for that. So I hope you guys all have a really fantastic week. I'm looking forward to it. I am. And I don't know. I think that's all I have. So bye. Have a good week. Thank you for joining, and I will see you next time. Bye. Thank you, Barbara. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Kendra. Bye. Bye, Rebecca. Bye, Doreen. Bye, Linda. Bye, Lori. Thank you, Lori. I'm feeling better. I just sound bad. I'm not 100%, but I'm 98%. So it's all good. Bye.